And now for all the very latest on our game between the Yankees and the Blue Jays at Rogers Center, and more on Harvey, our Meredith Marakovits and Al Leiter are standing by with the Clubhouse report. And guys, our first topic today is the news that broke just about a couple of hours ago. Matt Harvey will likely miss the rest of the 2013 season, a big blow for the Mets. What is the reaction around the ballpark to that today?
Thanks, Nancy. Certainly a lot of people talking about it. I mean, this guy is a phenom. He's a guy that started the All-Star game and a guy that the Mets were really counting on. So, Al, you heard Sandy Alderson say doesn't believe this is career-ending. This can be fixed. You heard Terry Collins say that. But what exactly does this mean for Matt Harvey moving forward?
Well, the one thing, Meredith, and there's no doubt about it, Sandy Alderson, I mean, if this is what it is, I mean, partially torn, this is a specially talented player as baseball fans. This isn't only a Mets story. This is a baseball story. And when you looked at Matt Harvey, 4+ pitches across the board, you got excited. I did, as a baseball fan, obviously appreciating a good pitcher. But, you know, I looked, you know, you think of Dwight Gooden, you think of the Roger Clemens, you think of the Pedro Martinez. Is that good? So if I were Verlander Matt Harvey, I'm thinking let the doctors play it out. But if there's a partial tear, and Sandy's right, that you see these guys that they go in, and unfortunately it would be a year if there is a surgery, get it done sooner than later. You know, what are you waiting for? I don't know of many partially torn UCLs that get better. Usually it gets worse.
So in the event that he does have that surgery and he misses next season, what do the Mets do moving forward? Because he was a guy that was exciting and a guy that they were kind of building around for the future.
Absolutely. Meredith, this guy is front end for any staff, and you get excited to be maybe one of the best pitchers of what we've seen our generation or a 10-year span. I would say there might be some effect to what the Mets decide, because there's a lot of money coming off their payroll with several players at Santana and others and Jason Bay that they had free money. So I don't know if they're going to be more stealth. I would think that they're going to probably look for selective spots. There's no doubt about it. Zach Wheeler was a great compliment to Matt Harvey. That was a wonderful 1-2 punch. I think there may be a difference of opinion now, especially if he gets surgery and he's out next year.
Well, Al, time will tell what the future holds for the Mets and for Matt Harvey. I know you have a game to do tonight, so we'll let you get going. And Joe Girardi was also asked about Matt Harvey in the news that he has a partially torn UCL tendon.
It's unfortunate. Obviously, the kid has been a great young pitcher in the short time that he's been here. You know, it's things that you go through as an organization, you go through as a team, and players go through. Injuries are all part of it. Depending on what he does, I mean, those guys usually come back and they're okay from that, and they're usually really good again. So, but it's unfortunate for him and their organization.
Well, Nancy, you heard Joe Girardi talking about...
Let's get to our game now, shall we? And the return of Derek Jeter. Now, the Yankees were cautious bringing him back, but he is back. Tell us about the latest.
Well, Nancy, he's in the lineup and he's batting second, and he's a guy that the Yankees desperately wanted to get back. They feel as though his presence alone is enough to help this Yankees team a little bit, and a team that's been playing pretty well. They did lose 2 out of 3 to Tampa Bay, but managed to salvage that game, the third game of the series. But let's take a quick look at that Yankees lineup presented by Lexus. And as you see, Brett Gardner is playing center field and leading off. Derek Jeter is your shortstop, batting second back in the lineup. Robinson Cano, the 3-hole hitter, playing second base. Alfonso Soriano, your cleanup hitter, playing left field. Curtis Granderson will bat 5th and DH tonight. Alex Rodriguez in the lineup at third base. Lyle Overbay, your first baseman. Ichiro Suzuki playing right field, batting 8th. And Austin Romine is your catcher, rounding out that order. So I did have the opportunity to catch up with the captain earlier today. I asked him just how anxious he is to get back out on the field tonight.
Looking forward to it. You know, I'm tired of talking about coming back, you know, so hopefully there's no incidents and can move on with the season.
There's 32 games left in this season. What are your expectations for the stretch?
Try to help us win. That's it. You know, every game's important. You know, like I told the guys a few weeks ago, every game we play is a playoff game. So we need to have that approach, and hopefully I can contribute as much as possible.
And Nancy, Joe Girardi had talked about a lot in the coming days to this return for Derek Jeter, that he wanted him to be smart out there on the base path, smart out there on the field. He realized there would be points in time where Derek Jeter would have to bust it out of the batter's box, but they're hoping that they have him for the final 32 games of this season. I also asked Derek Jeter, how do you balance it? Because he made the comment in the clubhouse, look, you can't play thinking you're going to get hurt. You just have to go out there and play. And he just smiled and answered, I don't know, we'll see. So it's something that Derek Jeter Jeter will have to monitor, he'll have to be careful about, but Joe Girardi and this Yankees team just happy to have the captain back right now.
Yeah, having a healthy roster, that's a good problem to have for Joe Girardi. Has he talked about how he's going to handle that? Playing time for everybody, DH days, rest days, etc.?
Well, up here in Toronto is definitely a different situation than they'll have moving forward. They have turf up here, so he's going to have to check in with Alex Rodriguez a little bit more. Can Derek Jeter realistically play 3 games on turf in a row coming back from 2 leg injuries and an ankle injury? That remains to be seen, but those guys will be pretty much the permanent fixtures at shortstop, Derek Jeter, and at third base, Alex Rodriguez. So that leaves Eduardo Nunez to kind of float in between shortstop and third in the event that they need him. Also, Mark Reynolds can play a little bit of third base, but I did ask Joe Girardi exactly how the return of Jeter impacts that lineup moving forward.
It's probably as whole as we've been all year long. You know, we've missed guys different periods in and out of the lineup, but it's probably as whole as we've been.
Getting it at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, down the stretch, I mean, this is something you want. You want a complete lineup. You want to know that your guys are healthy, and it gives you a shot.
And you would certainly have hoped that these guys would have been back a little bit sooner, but I did talk to Joe Girardi during a taping of the Joe Girardi Show on Sunday and said, is there a silver lining in any of this, that these guys are now healthy, maybe ready to go at the right point in time in the season? And he said, I sure hope so. He's hoping to have Derek Jeter out there for the final 32 games in some capacity. And Derek Jeter saying, look, I like our chances right now. I believe we can still make a run at this thing, and you can't worry about the teams that are ahead of you. You just have to focus on the current game and that day in particular, and that's all you can do. Kind of control the things that you can control and don't worry about the rest and let the chips fall where they may. But he was pretty confident speaking about this team's chances, and for good reason. This Toronto team has not given them much trouble at all this season. 12-1 so far against the Blue Jays.
All right, great stuff as always. Thanks, Meredith, very much, and we will see you again on the post game.
I'll talk to you later, Nancy.